Good evening, colleagues and audience members. My name is Ed Reisinger. I am the chairman of the Land Use and Transportation Committee for the City Council. We're here this evening to conduct our first hearing on map amendments to City Council Bill 12-0152, which is transform Baltimore zoning. This evening, we would like to hear from as many of our constituents as possible. We would like to thank the administrative team and the entire Morgan State University family for hosting this evening. Every hearing is open to public testimony, and citizens may come and provide testimony at each public hearing. The following guidelines, however, will be enforced today and throughout the process. Persons wishing to offer oral testimony must sign in and state their name, their address, or community in which they reside, and who, if anyone, they represent for the record. It is helpful to the committee if each person testifying about a zoning change for a specific property complete the information form being handed out by the staff. Electronic files are being made available on the City Council's website. Bill documents can be downloaded from the Bill 12-0152's file page by inputting the following link into your web browser, which is https://baltimore.legistar.com. A copy of the maps has also been placed in the bill folder located in the Executive Secretary's office, the Turner Austin at City Hall on the 4th floor. I encourage everyone to visit the City Council's website to stay updated about the bill. The Land Use and Transportation Committee intends to work progressively, reviewing all map amendments presented. City agencies and the public will be asked to participate by raising their questions or comments. If you are requesting a map change to the bill, please be sure to provide the committee with contact and property information on the forms that are being made available by staff and that are also on the sign-in table. If you would like to contact the committee, please mail correspondence to the Office of Councilmatic Services. Attention to Jennifer Coates at 100 North Holiday Street, Baltimore, Maryland 21202, or you can email Jennifer at jennifer.coates@baltimorecity.gov. At this time, I want to introduce some of the members of the committee. To my left is Councilwoman Mary Pat Clark.
Thank you.
To my immediate left is Councilman Jim Kraft, who is the Vice Chair of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We're also joined by Angela Gibson, representing Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake. Also, we are joined by Kara Kuntz, Paul Plymouth,
Thank you.
representing President Bernard Jack Young's office. To my immediate right is Jennifer Coates, who's the staff person.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
To the committee. The one ground rule I have is, would you please turn off your cell phones to give courtesy and respect to those who are going to testify. We are going to start off with a presentation from the Planning Department. Laurie Feinberg.
Thank
Go
you,
ahead.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, and a couple of just housekeeping items for those in the audience. We have planning staff right outside in the vestibule who are able to answer any of your specific questions about your property or general questions about the code. If you don't know if you want to testify, but you just have a general question or even a specific address-based question, Ms. Jamie Williams and Mr. Walde Ararsa are outside, and they can look up your specific area or address of concern. Also, the maps on the walls are, I just wanted to explain the basis of these maps as folks look at them, and they will be hopefully on the council website soon. They aren't yet, but these maps They have the zoning on them as the bill was introduced in 2012 with a key to what those categories are. And then when you see text in red, where it outlines a property and says change from R8 to R9 or whatever, the red is a reflection of Planning Commission recommendations to this committee. The Planning Commission completed their review after public hearings in September of 2013 and had some recommended amendments, and they are shown in red on these maps. In blue on these maps are any amendments the committee has received by mail, email, whatever, up until September 25th. So it takes time to make the maps, we can't keep them live, but this is reflective of the amendments up until September 25th. At the close of this series of hearings, we can update the maps to reflect anything on the record, and we can also remove amendments that have been withdrawn since that time. So we expect to work with the committee to provide those updates at the end of this series of map hearings. So that, hopefully that gives you the background on what you were looking at here. What I'd like to just give an overview of for the committee and the audience today are the mapping principles. How did we come up with these maps for the city? What is it based on? When we developed the code with our the working groups and citizen groups and consultant team, we established 4 basic principles for developing the maps. And the first principle is maintain current zoning districts in their present location where controls, where controls are appropriate for current development pattern and no change is desired. So in other words, if it's working, you keep it there. And there's no change desired. The second principle is to remap areas to reduce nonconformities. What does that mean? When the current zoning that we're working with today was established in 1971. And, you know, I'm sure they worked very hard on developing those maps, but there are some places where there were categories mapped that were not actually reflective of what was built. So an example would be, we found areas, since I'm in Northeast Baltimore, I'll use a Northeast Baltimore example. We found areas of the city that had semi-detached or duplex houses, yet their zoning category was R3, which only permits detached houses. So those houses are non-conforming. They don't follow the rules of the zoning, even though they're already built. And to be non-conforming for a property owner can be a burden because it makes it very difficult to make upgrades or changes to your house. So one of the principles is to reduce non-conformities and to reflect what is there on the ground. The third principle is to remap applicable areas to implement development policies. So, just to give an example of that, we have areas of the city, for example, our transit areas around the light rail, around the metro. And the development policy is to encourage development around those transit stations in that half mile. In this code, new is a tool called transit-oriented development zoning. So to match the policy, the example would be you want to map the land that's available for development around that transit station. And we were hopeful, frankly, that there would be a few more, but that's not the cards right now. But to remap those areas, the transit-oriented development. And again, those were on the land that's not already developed, like we didn't put the trans-oriented development zone over somebody's home where there's a strong residential area. Another example, I'll go on here. And then the last policy for mapping is apply policy-specific districts when remapping to resolve specific conditions or to achieve specific purposes. So an example there would be the waterfront overlay zone. We have an area along the waterfront where we have plans that establish a requirement for a promenade and certain height limits and setbacks. So that's a very specific policy.
Any specific property question.
In the maps. We have
And then they'll do.
row house mixed use. That's a very specific zone intended to preserve the character of row house areas that have storefronts on the ground floor with the mixed use. And actually, I'll take back the TOD as the example on the other one. That really is more policy specific, the transit. Another remapping to implement, a better example would be our industrial mixed use. That's a new tool that we came up with in this round to reflect the older buildings around the city, often obsolete for modern industry, but still buildings have character, and they tend to be adjacent to residential areas, though still suitable for job-related use, and that is the purpose of the industrial mixed use. Another good example on the specific policies are our office industrial campuses. Some people may call them business parks. Things like your Seton Business Park, or some of those areas, the Park Circle Business Park. Right now, we don't really have the right zoning tools. Some of them are industrially zoned, some of them are office zoned, but those parks are really that mixture, and the new tool there is called Office Industrial Campus, to reflect that mixture of work as well as offices and that sort of warehousing that goes with it. So those are our 4 basic mapping principles, and that's what guided us in developing these maps that you see today. So we have some new categories reflective of especially the way work is different, jobs are different. You know, we don't have just factories, we have more mixed use zones and that sort of thing, and to reflect things like transit development. And does the committee have questions, or how do you want to?
Yes, the committee has, each council person, each committee member can ask 2 questions, but before we go that route, I just want to acknowledge that we have Annie Smallin in the audience representing Mayor Stephanie Rollins Blake. Any of the committee members have any questions? No? Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Laurie. I just want to acknowledge receipt of some correspondence from Councilman Costello, Whiteford, Taylor, and Preston, Robert Forrest, who's a property owner, Cynthia Gross, Liz Bennett, Bob Martha, Peggy Matthews, Romaine Johnson, and the Remington Neighborhood Association. At this time, Councilman Kraft, you have some amendments you want to introduce?
Yeah, needs the microphone.
You
You don't need to hold it. Just do it.
Just leave it there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, these amendments, and I've given a copy to Jennifer, and she'll make them more formal. I mean, we'll have them more formal, but these are my initial map amendments, which have been, are in either based on present zoning bills that are pending, requests from constituents, or requests from others, are generated out of my office. So map 7C, 502 Albemarle Street, amend from C1 to C5. That reflects the change that's going on there right now. 507 South Central Avenue, amend from C5 to C2. 1307 Eastern Avenue, amend from C5 to C2. 1325 Eastern Avenue, amend from C5 to C2. 511, 531 South Caroline Street, amend from IMU to C1. 700 block of South Register Street, East Side, amend from C1 to R8. 1721 to 1749 Alisana Street, amend from C1 to R8. The west side of the 700 block of South Ann Street, amend from C1 to R8. 2121 Alisana Street, amend from C1 to C2. 2030 Alisana Street, amend from C1 to C2. 2127 Boston Street, amend from C1 to C2. 2033 Eastern Avenue, amend from C2 to C1. 2050 Fleet Street, amend from C2 to C1. And the 2900 and 3000 blocks of East Baltimore Street, amend from RMU to R8. And, I mean, I think it's R8, I'm sorry. It's the neighborhood mixed use, the,
What
You mean
address?
like IMU?
no.
No,
It's that retail mixed, it's the residential.
oh, it's in,
Huh? It's the 2900 block and 3000 blocks of East Baltimore Street. Maybe they didn't write. Huh?
Yeah, I know those spots.
Right.
Neighborhood commercial is not a zone.
The R,
It's just a conditional use in RA.
what are you trying to do?
oh, is that the, it's the red lines that are crossed over those lines?
Those are the RMU.
That's an
overlay.
RMU.
That's an RMU overlay.
Okay, we're
It
gonna,
goes
well,
over R8.
yeah, we'll remove that.
So
Okay.
we delete the RMU overlay.
Right, we delete the RMU overlay. Right,
What's the underlying zone?
R8.
Oh, it is now?
Yeah, it's already R8, so we're gonna delete the,
You get that whole,
Making it,
right, just leave it at
R8.
R8, right. And then the other three, we're holding for right now, the bottom
Okay.
three,
All
okay?
right. Thank you, Councilman. Now I got, it's the audience, say what's the audience, we have a list.
my district.
no,
What's the substitute?
Just give us a couple of minutes, staff's gonna go get the signing sheet. How many people here have signed in to testify? Okay,
So like I had D1s that.
Just one?
were R8 underlined,
just one person sign in to testify?
and still,
Has everyone who's here tonight, have you filled out the form for the map amendment change in your community? If you haven't, go out into the hall, and they have these forms, these are map amendment forms that you can fill out if you want to change the zoning in your community.
And as they start doing that, prices. So we're not.
And it says name of person, organization, the email address, telephone number of the person, and then the same way with property address if they want. Do you have anything?
just one person,
So it's one person.
or two.
Okay.
and I
Anthony,
didn't work with me. I had a
I apologize for pronouncing this. Angie and Francis Tate. Francis, you want to, Angie, and you want to, no, you don't, okay, Francis,
Is her name again, Francis Tate?
is that Francis C. Tate?
This is her full name. Okay.
We do have your form, by the way. Okay, go ahead. Just take your hand, pour it down, okay, go ahead. Pour it, in front, yeah,
Take it out, take it out.
you can take it out. Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I live in zone 21223, 9th District, 100 block of South Franklin Town Road. And outside, the young lady said that it's changing from whatever it is to MUI.
IMU?
Yeah.
Is it like,
Something, what's with the,
That's industrial mixed use is,
right.
what is,
yes, go ahead. Yeah, we hear what she has.
Right. Well, I don't understand She said it's not that big of a deal, so it's not that big of a deal. Why are they doing it? And I've been having problems with the businesses there. I've been calling since August of last year. The mayor's office,
Before she leaves,
the
to
councilman's
explain the
office, the
difference
congressman's office. And I can't get
There's no
anybody to
difference,
help
but
me.
Lori may
Like
wanna
they wanna
explain
put even more things
before she
on
leaves.
Yeah, it is, yeah, Francis, it is a big deal. Laurie, can you respond to Ms. Francis? They gave you the wrong statement. It's all a big deal when it comes to the amendments of someone's
Yeah.
neighborhood.
What's the difference
question
between
is-
MU and IMU?
What is IMU doing coming into the 100 block of South?
109 South Franklin Town Road.
It's
Coming-
M2 right now.
Yeah,
It's M2?
Right.
Oh, that's better.
Yeah, it's a better time.
yeah.
Policies in our area planner, Kyle Lance, is
Councilman
also here,
Branches.
who can probably go into more detail on that specific. It is a currently industrial area.
Saving for you.
It's currently zoned for heavy industry.
Yeah.
And we made the recommendation for the industrial mixed use, which is a transition. It does not, the industrial mixed use does not permit the very heaviest industry, which is permitted there today. But it is currently an industrially zoned area.
Okay. Could Kyle talk, is Carl, you gotta use the microphone, we're being televised.
See, this is what I mean. I just asked the lady at the front, and she went on the computer, and she said it's not heavy industrial.
Okay.
It's not.
She just said it
Oh,
was.
I can double check, I'm just doing
Okay.
it by memory.
Oh,
Yeah, but wait a minute, it's,
M2 there.
yeah, it says M2, heavy industrial is M3, M1 is light. Is Kyle, you say Kyle's here?
Kyle's here, the current zoning is the M2,
Right.
yeah.
which is.
It's going to
heavy industrial.
IMU.
Current, this is.
What she was probably explaining is the industrial mixed use, which is what's recommended, is the light industry. Okay, well, I'll go discuss that, but that's.
Yeah. Ms. Francis, talk to Kyle.
Kyle can't help me. And I called the mayor's office all
I'll
last
go
year.
talk to her.
Wait a minute.
What does she need?
And nobody's responded. I called them in February. When I talked to them again, it was last month.
What?
The reason
Wait,
why-
you gotta use the microphone. Wait a minute, Councilman, I wanna
Yeah.
hear what she has to say.
I called the mayor's office last year and this year, and they said the reason they didn't call me back from February until 4 weeks ago, because somebody transposed my phone number. So I don't know what
Okay.
kind of people work there, but they didn't have enough
Just
initiative
apologize.
to send a card and say you got your
Just
number.
apologize. Tell
And
her.
it's the same thing with Mr. Welch and Mr. Haynes. I spoke to him, he's supposed to call me back since January.
Okay, I apologize, I'm sorry for that, but I would talk to Kyle and hear what he has to say. At least give him the courtesy to speak to him.
knows about this.
No, he's here, he'll talk to you.
Can I ask one
Okay?
question?
Yeah, Councilwoman Clark?
I have one question I'd like to ask, and Stephanie, can you make sure we can get the information? Why, you're worried very much about this building and what's happening there, correct?
The whole problem is that they built all these buildings with no permits.
Yeah.
I had to tell the city, but the city is still allowing them to bring all these tractor trailers and stuff in there. 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I
Okay.
have to get up and ask them.
And so you live there in a house,
Yes, ma'am.
and there's all this industry around you.
And it's not legal because they, see.
I got it.
And they didn't ask for
Stephanie,
permits
jump up.
because they knew they wouldn't have gotten them.
Okay.
Stephanie's going to talk to you so we can get the information and talk to your councilman
Oh, I already did
about
that.
it. Well,
Yeah, well,
let's see if we can figure out what's happening.
we'll try to work with you.
With him.
Okay? Thank you, Ms. Francis. We are joined by Councilman Warren Branch to my left. Anyone else here to testify? No?
It's not going to, I know,
No
but
one else here to testify? This is it.
there's something wrong.
Okay, our next public hearing on map amendments for City Council Bill 12-0152, transform Baltimore zoning will be held. This is the wrong one.
Let's just say digital harbor.
But- No. Yes, the,
Here.
They're just watching us, see what we have.
yeah, the next hearing for the map amendments for the bill will be held,
Oh, is that it?
what's that, October the
15th.
15th, October the 15th at 6 p.m. at Digital Harbor High School located at 1100 Covenant Street. I want to thank everyone for attending this evening for the land use and transportation voting session, land use and transportation map hearing. Please check the area around your seat to make certain that you have everything that you brought with you. Thank you.
Okay.